What is up guys, it is Simba here and welcome back to another League Racing video on the channel. And today this is round number 6 for the Spanish Grand Prix. If you have missed the last video, which was our first League race around Miami, go check it out before you see this one. It was a very good race for us with very strong pace, and that is all I'm going to say about it, because I'm going to show you guys the championship standings after the last race in Miami. So as you can see here, we are third in the championship, tied on points with SLR Quattro, who is not racing because he has COVID at the moment. So hope he gets a speedy recovery. And we're 27 points behind the championship leader Lever King, who's won the last 2 races. And we are 4th place in the Constructors' Championship. So we're looking pretty decent in both championships, and we're looking to build the momentum from the last 2 races. So let's get into qualifying for the Spanish Grand Prix. So here we are in Q1 for the start of qualifying here around Barcelona, and we are feeling pretty confident going into this race. I've done a lot of practice alongside Shut Medal before this race, so I'm feeling pretty confident that we can definitely gun for some very good places in qualifying in the final session. But we have to worry about the first session here as we come through the final corner. FG Alfie, our teammate, has crashed out, and meanwhile we set the fastest lap of the session.
P1. See.
And you can hear me cracking out the C as we did go fastest, but we are demoted to P3. But very good start to the session. Q1 is light work, but there is an element of pressure in all 3 sessions, even in Q2 as well, as we are 6 tenths up on the Delta. This is our second run as we did our first lap on an old set of soft tyres. And as you can see here, we completely missed the apex of that final chicane there, but it won't stop us from finding a big improvement here as we cross the line. We go fastest on a 17.4 and we stay P1 at the end of the session. So through to Q3 once again. So we've kept that run going so far this season, and now it is time to deliver in Q3. And as you can see here, we're coming through turns 7 and 8. Very easy to get on that sausage curb on the exit of turn 7, and through turn 9 you can see we're not as confident through that corner.
Lurk move.
As meanwhile we're telling the Mercedes of VR46 to get out of the way, and that's exactly what he does as we go purple. We're nearly 2 tenths up on LP Smoke at the moment on the Delta, as this could be looking pretty good for us as we come through the final sector, chucking into 4th gear, down to 3rd, short shifting up to 4th to ease the traction and the rotation through the corner as we exit the chicane through the final right-hander towards the line. What is it going to be? It's a 17.3.
That's you into P2. You're currently on the front row. Nice work.
So as you can hear, I wasn't very happy about it. Not because we're second, but because I know we can go quicker. So that's exactly what we are going to try and do here in this final lap of the session. I'm going to talk you guys through it this time instead of leaving you guys on silent. So here we go. DRS down the straight, heading up towards 200 miles an hour. Going into turn 1, we don't take as much of a wide approach to the corner, but we swing it in 5th gear through the first 2 corners, up to 6th, and you want to try and go as flat as possible through turn 3. Take as much inside curb as you possibly can without losing a rear axle through mid-corner, as we've gone purple with a 21.9. 5th gear again through turn 4, and you want to carry that momentum, let the car run wide and build up for turn 5. 3rd gear short shifting up to 4th for traction as we're up the gears again towards turns 7 and 8. Very easy to mess up this section, and we get it pretty much nailed it spot on. Through turn 9 we have a bit more confidence than the first run, and as you can see we're 2.5 tenths up. We are definitely on for pole position as we go through turn 10. 5th gear, we lose the rear end a little bit, which is a mistake I've never made in practice, but we've lost all our advantage here. And we're trying to gain it back, but we go wide there, and that is it.
Oh, come on.
And you can hear I am very annoyed about that. And we're going to try and go again, but it's basically futile, because on this game, charging ERS is a lot harder if you mess up a lap. And as you can see, it's really showing here. We're 4 tenths down on our Delta. So we fueled for 2 laps, which was suggested by Coolest. which I mentioned, who I mentioned in my last video, but it's not his fault, it's my fault for messing up the lap. So yeah, that's it for our session. It's going to be P3 at best, and I can tell you now, that is exactly where we end up being for this race. So we could have been on pole, but P3 is still good. Once again, we've matched our personal best from this season and last season as well. Just a 10th.5 off, but crucially we're ahead of Levy King. So that is the main thing. We're ahead of our closest championship rival, but we've got UK Beast Assassin in front of us, and he's not going to be easy to overtake if you saw Australia. So race strategy, we're going to go from mediums to hards, but I'm going to try and extend the medium stint because the pace on the mediums felt pretty good in practice, and we're going to see if we can carry that over into the race. As you can see, the return of the immersive formation lap as we are getting ready for the Spanish Grand Prix. And like I said in the last video, I've made comments in the last video saying that we are taking a step closer. We're getting closer and closer to getting that first win of the season. Let's see if we can do it here today. So here we go, we're revving up to 5 red lights for round 6, which is the Spanish Grand Prix. Here at SLR, it's lights out and away we go. UK Beast Assassin getting an OP start. Meanwhile, our start wasn't as good. We are getting overtaken by the championship leader, as we're going to go side by side in a turn one. We're going to try and go round the outside to retain P3, and that's exactly what we managed to do, and we stay in 3rd place. And meanwhile, Beast Assassin and Smoke are side by side right in front of us, going through turn 3, and by the time we get to turn 4, the McLaren, the former championship leader, has taken the lead of the Spanish Grand Prix, and Smoke is down into P2.
I swear Beast Assassin got the host start.
You can hear me say that Beast Assassin might have got the host start, and what I mean by that is, in this game, when you host a lobby, you will get a better start than everybody else because the lights go out before everyone else, so it gives you an unfair advantage. That's why, if you watch it back, Beast Assassin's car got off the line before the lights went out. So that's essentially what's happened here, but we're going to keep pushing as DRS has been enabled on lap 3.
If Smoke falls out of 1 second, we need to pass him immediately.
So, lap 3, DRS has been enabled, and you can hear me say that if LP Smoke falls out of DRS range to the McLaren, we need to pass him immediately. So we're looking to waste absolutely no time passing this Aston Martin, who, you know, struggled for pace so far, but he's looked pretty strong all weekend here. But as we come through the final chicane on the end of lap 3, we have missed out on DRS.
What do you mean? Oh, that is a joke. We're falling out of DRS already.
So,
right.
It's quite ironic, we were looking to pass LP Smoke, but staying within 1 second of him seems to be the biggest challenge at the moment, because the dirty air is quite, it does affect you quite a bit on this game in particular. But LP Smoke is looking pretty impressive so far in this race, as Beast Assassin is building up that lead. You can hear me say Beast Assassin is running away, so we need to make sure that we can pass Smoke as quickly as possible without using up too much DRS. As you can see, he's really flexing his muscles out front.
Hello, Sam. Thanks for joining stream, mate. We're going to see if we can get past Smoke, but it's not going to be easy.
So lap 5 of this race, you can hear me welcoming SLR Sem into the chat. Now he's going to be very important in this race. I'm going to show you some of the messages he sends over. But lap 7, we are reeling in the McLaren.
Yeah, Beast Assassin's struggling.
So 2 laps later, LP Smoke and I and Levy King have managed to reel in the McLaren, and this is going to be useful because now we can actually save the tyres and try and go longer. But hold the phone, we have got a safety car on lap 7 and we're just going to dive straight in. But UK Beast Assassin has missed the pit lane, and that's disastrous for him.
Nah,
a very unfortunate moment for the former championship leader. As we come into the pits, Smoke gets a penalty.
Right, we're going straight to hards. We might as well make the shot now.
Perfect job from you and the crew there, mate. We're delighted with that. Look after these tyres now. We want to finish the race on this compound.
There you go. We're P4. There you go. Beast Assassins now a pit stop behind us. That was a no-brainer of a decision.
And you could hear me at the end of that intermission there saying that it was an absolute no-brainer, as Beast Assassin has lost out. Instead now, the race leader is Kevin GT, and he qualified 13th and started on hard tyres. So he still has to make a pit stop. He's not in our race, but he could definitely factor in right now and try and decide who gets to lead the race. But we get going again, and that's an awful
stupid
restart.
limiter. Honestly, it's a joke. Get rid of this stupid limiter. It's an absolute farce. I was accelerating and it wouldn't even move for a good 2 seconds. That is a joke.
And you can hear my reaction to that restart. Get rid of the limiter, Codemasters, please. But meanwhile, we have to focus on the action because Kevin leads the Spanish Grand Prix, but I don't know what he's done there at turn 3, but he's definitely taken the wrong line. And LP Smoke, on those fresher, hard compound tyres, is going to take advantage and take the lead of the race. But remember, these tyres are pretty cold, and Smoke has made the move, so we're going to try and make a move. We go from the outside to the inside at turn 5, and we're surely going to make it work. But we're still side by side with the Haas. We need to complete the move at turn 7. We try and break a little bit later on the inside line, and that is job done.
Let's go.
And we're up into P2.
We have to do that. We have to make that move.
And you can hear me say that we needed to make that move because now we've managed to put a car between us and Levy King, who was also pitted for hard tyres. And you can see Shot Metal in 5th place here. He is not stopped, so unfortunately he didn't really show the pace that he was showing when I was practicing with him, which is a big shame. But he's P5 right now, and another safety car will get him back in the race as VR46 has retired from this race. He had a crash at the exit of turn 2, but now we can just chill, sit behind LP Smoke and just use the DRS to the end of the race because he's got a penalty. So we just need to stay within 5 seconds of the Aston Martin, who is leading this race, as lap 12 still chilling behind him, not using too much ERS. As you can see, we've still got about 80%, but as we come through the exit here,
oh dear, he's binned it.
Right, drop your speed. Our delta's too low and we're going to risk a penalty. Slow your pace immediately.
We lead the race.
well, I couldn't have said it better myself.
Gee, that turned out.
We lead the Spanish Grand Prix, and just like that, LP Smoke is out of contention for the race win, despite looking pretty quick all weekend. So you have to feel for him here. But we lead the Spanish Grand Prix on lap 12, and the end of the VSC, we're going to try and push as much as we can to keep Levy King and Kevin out of our DRS range.
Try and give Levy a taste of his own medicine. Try and see if we can get our DRS.
And you can hear me say there, we're going to try and give Levy King a taste of his own medicine and see if we can get out of his DRS range and get the gap to over a second. As you can see on the top left, the gap is 1.3 seconds to Kevin and Levy King, which is important because Kevin is yet to stop in this race. But lap 14, you can see the screen's a little bit smaller because I'm going to show you some key messages from my chat during this race, which will definitely give you guys some context on why we make certain decisions.
Start using a bit more ERS to pull away. Yeah, but we need to manage the battery though, of course. We can't just waste it. We've got Levy King right behind us. Also, Kevin has to stop still.
So, on to lap 15, Coolers has suggested that we use a bit more ERS, but I've told him that, you know, we don't need to do it right now. Levy King is right behind us. We need to make sure we can save the ERS if we want any chance of beating him here today. So, yeah, we just need to keep doing what we're doing. LP Smoke, meanwhile, is out of the race, and you've got to feel for him here.
Got to feel for Smoke. Levi's really got on his battery, so he'll definitely need some if he catches up. Exactly.
Okay, clear.
And there you go, that is the first key message that Sem gives to us in our Twitch chat. As yeah, we need to make sure we can save as much battery as possible so we can be ready to defend when Levy King arrives. And that is a McKeown Division driver as well, so shout out to him. He was really helpful. You'll see more messages from him through the race. As lap 18, we're not really pulling away from Kevin, he's actually reading us in instead. So the pace isn't feeling too good at the moment, as the gap is literally half a second but Levy King is 1.1 seconds behind us. So we need to make sure that we can find some pace somewhere, as Merckx is out of the race as well.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Looking to push for a safety car right now, just be careful. Right, drop your speed, our delta's too low and we're going to risk a penalty. Slow your pace immediately.
God damn it. We can't go back on mediums, so no point, we might as well stay out. That's giving Kevin a free stop though, that's annoying.
So unfortunately, that crash from Merckx has caused another safety car, and that means we're going to have to bunch up the field again, which means Kevin has a free stop, which I'm worried about towards the end of the race, and Levy King is right behind us in second place. So we're going to get going again to the lead for another 12 laps. It's not going to be easy as we get going again. You can hear me say in the background, let's go and push as much as we can. As we start lap 22, we are currently ahead of the championship leader, and it would mean so much if we could get the race win here today. Sam, I think, told me that we'll gap the field because we are quicker than most people in this grid. So we should be able to pull away from the rest of the field, and that's exactly what's happening. As a Vote Replay, Zackus Beast and SLR Van Dorn are all squabbling for P3, so that's just going to make things a lot easier for us, but it also means that this is going to be a one-on-one fight for the race win. And as you can see here, we've got about 87% ERS. We need to manage the battery as much as possible. That is the only way we're going to stay ahead of this Aston Martin. So lap 23 ends and lap 24 starts. We get a key message from Mark Priestley.
Okay, the stewards have now enabled DRS. DRS is now online.
Well, this is where we need to make sure we don't use too much DRS.
So you heard Mark Priestley say there, at the start of lap 24, DRS has been enabled, and you can also hear me say that this is where we're going to have to do some management to the ERS, because Levy King is going to have an extra 10 to 12 miles an hour advantage down every DRS straight. It's up to us to make sure that we can manage the battery efficiently so we have enough for when he tries to attack us at the end of the race. So lap 25, we're still ahead of him. We've still got a good level of battery, and Sam is telling us that we can try and use a bit to get him out of DRS range, but you can see there, we make a mistake through turn 8. We get on the sausage curb, and somehow we don't spin. We manage to keep it on the track, and we just have to keep going as we survive for now. But that was a huge scare at the time. I was trying to push a little bit harder, and it almost backfired on us. So somehow we're still in the lead, but we got away with that one. As you can see, Sam is telling us that you are quicker than him, which is pretty encouraging. So we're going to see if we can try and flex some muscles with the pace. This is where we need to pick up the pace. So setting a 121.4 is not the way to do it. As you can see, the gap is just under half a second, and that is enough breathing space for us when we're just trying to use a little bit of ERS at the beginning of the straight, so we can have a bit more breathing room at the start of each lap. So lap 26 rolls around now. We're at a 20.5 as our personal best. So we are getting the hammer down, and again you can see there the gap is just over 0.4 of a second. Levy King using DRS to stay within range each passing lap. So we need to keep pushing, we need to keep chipping away. As lap 27 ends, the gap is half a second, nearly up to 0.6, and this wasn't our best lap. But as we come through the final sector, we set our new personal best of a 20.4. So the gap now is 0.7, and we've still got about 50% ERS. So we're not using too much each lap, we're just managing it, we're just using it at the end of every straight. As lap 28, we come through again, and we set a 20.499.
Right, 5 to go. Cheers, Sam, for the encouragement, mate.
And you can hear me thanking Sam in the Twitch chat for being really helpful and very encouraging through the race. I've actually found a way to read the chat while I'm racing, but yeah, so I can be able to respond to you guys better now. As lap 30 rolls around, we are nearly 0.8 ahead of the Aston Martin, which means we're nearly dragging him out of DRS. But you can see on the bottom right of your screen, the tyre wear
3 to go, guys.
Which means
come on,
the tyres have hit 60%. You have to remember that we were on these tyres since lap 7, so it's been quite a way, it's been quite a stint, but we are really really pushing as much as we can to get to the end of this race.
20.3. Tyres will make it.
So, at the end of lap 31, we set a new personal best of a 20.3. And the tyres are way over 60%. Some of them are still just under 60. But Levy King is catching up with us. But he's running out of corners. And he's running out of time. But the gap is literally half a second. So, we've got a lot of pressure here. We've been leading since lap 12 of this race. We're reluctant to let it go, as we're going to start the last lap. We don't get the best run, but we're starting the last lap in the lead.
Last lap, come on. Gonna drain the battery.
This is your final lap.
So, here we go. Last lap of the Spanish Grand Prix. Levy King is closer than he's ever been, and we're going to drain the ERS on this main straight. We've saved just enough as he has a look on the inside, but we just fended him off, and that was his one overtaking opportunity, as we're going to keep pushing like we have done for the past 8-9 laps. That DRS was enabled for him as was a personal best in Sector 1, despite the tyres being at 60%, and they are going off at this stage of the race, but we just need to make sure we keep a cool head, and we'll get our first win in Division 1 since Season 7 in Brazil. Because if you've seen the playlist from last season, we missed out on a race win. We went winless, so this is our chance to get a race win. Through turn 9, another DRS zone is coming up, but Levy King is half a second behind. And we set another personal best in the middle sector. We're absolutely going for it. We're totally committed to winning this Spanish Grand Prix. As we come through the final sector, we've come close to victories in last season. We missed out on a race win by 2 corners in Monza last season. But today, we have beaten the rest of the field as we come through the final chicane. We're going to come through to take our first win of the season. It's the Spanish Grand Prix. Come on, yes! Yes! Let's freaking go! Yes! Finally!
Get in there, guys!
Yes!
First of the season! First of the season! Let's go!
Third time is the charm. We finally take our first win of Season 9 in Division 1. We have won the Spanish Grand Prix. And this is a very relieving moment. You heard my reaction when we crossed the line. A huge moment of relief. A huge amount of joy as well. Because we've come close to victory last season. We went winless last season, despite finishing second in the championship. And now we were knocking on the door of a race win in the last few races. And I'm so happy that we managed to finally give you guys a race win. It's my 3rd win on this league. My first as an official full-time driver in this league. So, a great feeling. With a great race as well, despite messing up in qualifying. So we made up for it in the best way possible by winning the race. I want to give a big shout out to all the guys that were rooting for me in the Twitch chat. To Sam for keeping me calm and letting me know that what I was doing. And a big shout out to those in the Twitch chat as well, continuing to spur me on through the race. It really means a lot for you guys to support me since becoming an affiliate on Twitch as well. So yeah, but I'm going to be moving to university on the 10th. I'm recording this on the 9th, so it's going to take me a while to maybe get this video out with other content as well. But I'm going to do my best to give you guys more league racing content.